Good morning, everyone. Lawrence Fleming here again. Well, the morning is brisk, but it's not too bad. It's going to be a warm day today, but I got to have a little help to get by the morning. We are definitely in fall. Look at the leaves on the ground. There's grass there somewhere. And look at the trees. Here they've all changed color for the most part. They're falling, and you can see that there's things around us that couldn't see before. That's what it's like in the east. Any place where there's trees and where it gets cold, you're going to have fall. We're in the stage now where yesterday I swept off the deck, and within 2 hours you wouldn't know I was out there. But otherwise you're pushing leaves around as you're moving. So I am going to go try to get over it. I'm back at a familiar place for a week. I have some chores I've got to do. I've got to get my storage unit in its final position of moving the leaves off my chair so I can sit down. I think I'm going to move that cushion out of the way so I don't sit down in wet. There we go. Yeah, you know me, I have to find a rocking chair. I've got it. All right. As I'm recording this on Election Day. So I don't know the outcome. We may not know the outcome for a while. So what do? We just calmly sit and wait. There's nothing we can do. We have to stay calm through situations. We have to have a time where we can disconnect from all the problems. I'm reminded of Psalm 23. I guess, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. We have still waters. That's all calming, but He makes me lie down in green. We don't do it on our own sometimes. We were specifically given a day of rest so that we wouldn't be working 7 days a week. I have a cat coming over here to visit. Meow. Meow. Yep. This selfie stick has got to go. It is driving me crazy. I'm going to go try to look for one today when I'm out and around. This isn't the one that keeps collapsing on me. This is the other one. The oldest one is the one that keeps collapsing. This is the new one, but it's very limited on the movement. It's better off if I just set it down on a tripod and just take a picture of me doing something, but to use it as a selfie stick, it's almost unusable. I'm getting by, but it's like I've got my hand up at a funny angle to make this camera turn to look at me. Okay, enough of my problems. So the key is you've got to take the time to just disconnect. You don't need to know everything that's going on in the news. You don't need to know anything else. Here I am. I have a cat. This is one of the outdoor cats here. There's probably close to a dozen cats here. Some are indoors, some are out. Yeah, I'll pet the cat. That's what he wants. Yeah. The outdoor cats don't get a lot of attention. They're okay now, but a while back they caught something and they were kind of sickly and they didn't want to bring that inside, so we weren't allowed to touch them. But these appear to be in good shape out here now. And this one's had some ownership before because it's too tame around people. Some of the other ones are pretty feral. All right, there's a funny video that I want you to check out. If you're a Star Trek fan, which you know I am, there's a funny video out. Okay. Yeah. Go away, kitty cat. It's a music video by Bruno Mars, and it's featuring Leonard Nimoy, who played Spock on Star Trek. And we know Leonard Nimoy is a real, good actor, but the Spock character was, very stern, very logical, non-emotional, fascinating. He'd raise the eyebrow. And he could raise one eyebrow. I'm doing two now, but I used to be able to do one, but I lost that a while back, and I haven't brought it back. Anyhow, because I've played Vulcans, it's a very funny video showing him just being, it's called the lazy song. Sometimes we just need to take a day and not do anything. And sometimes you can't get away from stuff. There's a funny part in there where he turns the TV on, and there's William Shatner doing a commercial for something. And he pushes the channel, and it goes over, and there's William Shatner doing another commercial for something else. And he rolls his eyebrows and turns it off and throws the remote on the table. It's like you can't get away from Shatner. But very well done. You've got to be able to have time to relax, calm yourself down, and spend time with God. God talks to you. He talks to me. And you say, I don't hear God. Why? How come you can hear God? I don't hear any voices. I haven't ever seen a burning bush that was talking to me. Or if it was burning, it was going pop, crackle, smoke. I don't hear voices coming from burning bushes. But he talks to me. He talks to me in a number of different ways. If I say, I don't know whether I should go, north, south, east, or west. I'm just arbitrarily picking something here. It doesn't matter. Well, I could turn the TV on, and it would be North by Northwest would be playing on the show, on the TV show. Or I might talk to somebody, and they say, the north end of my property, I need to go cut the grass or something. People will start doing stuff, and I'll pick up on it, and God continues to do that until I go, okay, I got it. You want me to go north? Other ways that he talks to me is through the scriptures. You got to know the scriptures enough. You don't have to know the whole Bible, but you got to know enough that he can speak to you. He'll just bring to mind a scripture. Now, I know Psalm 23 like most people should. So if I'm working too hard and I need to take a break, he'll bring Psalm 23, verse 2 to mind. And we may look at that at the end. I don't know. If I bring it up here, I might just put Psalm 23 in the text down below, and you can go look it up at your leisure. I'm always using scriptures through my talking. And if I use something and you're not sure, go look it up, Google it. We have the advantage of the best resource ever in the history of mankind. It can be used for bad, just like anything can. But if you want to look up a phrase, type it into Google. Now you got to be careful. Sometimes the phrases, if they're ambiguous, you might get something that you don't want. But if you know the exact text, but you don't know where it's at, makes me to lie down in green pastures. If you type that in, before you even finish it, it would come up with Psalm 23. So you have that resource. But you could also just type in rest in the Bible, or lie down in the Bible, or green pastures in the Bible, and you're going to get the scriptures that line up with it. Now, some things you might put in, and you might get 50 references. That's maybe how many there are. So you can look at them all, or you can change your text a little bit to be more specific if you're looking for something. Learn to use the tools. They're amazing. So go watch that Bruno Mars video. It's enjoyable, it's fun. If you know Spock, it's even more fun. And Some of it's a little adult humor in it, but it's not bad. You're not seeing anything. It's the illusion. But in any case, it's a fun little video. We have to know to take time to study the Word and then let it paint pictures in your mind that then God can then pull back. Now for me, I don't do that. I'm left brain. I don't visualize. It's difficult for me when I'm doing a script. And last weekend I was director of photography and a camera operator in an independent Star Trek fan film. Well, my job is to help the director to show what he wants to show. We have the writing. So-and-so's talking to so-and-so. Well, how's the best way to show that? If it's a dramatic scene, you want to have it so that it's pictured dramatically. We did one overhead shot where I had to climb up to the top of a 10-foot ladder and rest the camera on top on some bean bags up there and get the shot. Yeah, we could have done it with a boom, but these close quarters in some of these sets, it makes it difficult to do that. And we've put track up and done all kinds of other things. You can do things for dramatic effect. And for knowing how to operate a camera is helpful because sometimes you want to shorten your depth of field so that you can focus on something. That's all part of the game. But you can basically, put your hands up like this and look and see, how is that going to frame? Is that going to be good? Do we want to get closer? Do we want to see just the eyes? That's where having experience how to do that is helpful. But you're basically taking the writing and converting it into an image, which is what, if it was strictly writing, the reader would do. So this is one person's interpretation of what it would look like. And for me, I need that because I don't visualize. So by seeing it, then it helps me to then grasp the scene. If you were to describe to me the Grand Canyon, it's big, it's majestic, it's colorful. I have no idea, but I've been there. So when you say those words, then it's helpful to help bring back up that picture. I don't fully see it, like I said, but I still, because I have seen it, it does that. In life, you are going to have experiences that are unique to you. And God will bring those experiences back to life. If they're a good experience, then He's bringing back to mind something good to remind you, why was it good? Why did you enjoy it? Well, that can help you to relate to other people who may be in a similar situation. God is the best at pulling stuff back into your mind. Whatever goes into your back brain, the subconscious or the long-term memory, never goes away. It's just some people have better ability to pull it forward. Me, it's harder for me, but I can do it. But I still don't store pictures. I store a lot of information, some of it useless, but by not having pictures with it, I can store more. But whether it's text coming forward or ideas or basic memories, God uses those. So learn the scriptures, and God can bring those back to mind. When Jesus was tempted, Satan threw scriptures at him. Out of context, but he threw them at him. So it's always good to know the context. But Jesus responded back with the proper text in context, and that's all it took. Jesus went away. He could have stayed, but he didn't. He could see it was useless. Satan's lazy to a degree. He's arrogant, prideful, all the traits, human traits that we find unpleasant in people. If someone's like that and you're talking to him, but he's also deceptive. And that's where we need to really watch for him, because he can pretend to be anything. I understand that as an actor. I'm doing that in real life, but I know I'm pretending. And if you see me act, I may or may not do a good job. If you watch a bad guy perform and he does a real good job performing that bad guy, if you were to see this actor in person, you might automatically hate him because he has that bad guy image. But I can tell you, most bad guys are teddy bears, pleasant in person. They're just good actors. Now, Satan is the best actor. He should win every award out there for acting, because you won't know he's acting. Jesus said, "Don't be deceived," when he was asked about the future. Don't be deceived. The master deceiver is coming down here. Well, we know he's on the white horse, so we know he's coming down. We also have Revelation 12, him coming down here with his angels, and him getting kicked out of heaven, which we should all be able to jump up and down and cheer on, except for the people down here. They're going to have to deal with him. Okay, so like I said, I'm recording this on Election Day. I doubt if we're going to know who won today, and I don't think it really matters. It is so messed up out there that I don't think that anybody could come down here and correct it. The only one that would have any hope of doing anything is going to be someone who is Christ-like. Obviously, Christ could fix things, but when we get his antithesis, his evil self of the Antichrist, who's going to appear to be the Christ, and he's going to have solutions. The most capable being in the world ever created by God. Lucifer was the prettiest, the most beautiful, the most intelligent, the strongest. Other angels are going to be afraid to fight him. But in a group setting, I think they can beat him, because when I say I think, I'm being somewhat facetious on that, but an individual angel would not stand a chance. We don't stand a chance against Satan, so don't ever fight him. Leave that to God. That's his realm. Just tell him to get away from you. That's it. If he's bothering you, tell him to get away. If he's using somebody else to bother you, I wouldn't necessarily turn to him and say, "Be gone, Satan." If you're talking to your friend, they might take offense to that. But you could think that. Say it with a smile. Think it. "Be gone, Satan." They won't know. Satan will know if he's controlling them. Satan can't indwell a Christian. So make sure all your friends are Christians. And don't trust anybody who's not. Because Satan can get in there and say, "It would be a good idea if you did this." Of course, he's leading you into a trap. That's why we want to be careful. Don't be deceived. When we look at our world leaders and our world controllers, those that have a lot of money, I can think of 2 or 3 right off the top of my head. I'm not mentioning names, but they're atheists. And that's a problem, because they can be indwelled. They could become the Antichrist. The Antichrist, I'm sure, is alive and well today, doing stuff. He may be doing good stuff. He may be doing stuff that's impressive. We're going to all know the person that the Antichrist is going to become. We're not going to know him as the Antichrist. Not yet. Because we're here. One, we're restricting him. We're the restrainer, or at least the spirit in us is. We're also not subject to all this stuff that's coming. Now, we're going to get some of it. Obviously, we're in it now. But we're definitely not going to get the wrath. We're not subject to it. There, see, I just quoted a verse. We're not subject to wrath. You can look it up. The main thing is just take it easy. When you see things happening, take it easy. I mean, if you're standing on a railroad track and you see a train coming at you, get out of the way. But if you're seeing stuff happen on the other side of the world, that's bad. Pray for the people there, but don't let it bother you. You know, if the volcano that you're hiking on is active, don't be surprised if it blows up. So get out of there. Don't be there if it's got protections. We know the West Coast is prone to earthquakes. Don't make your house out of sand. Most places in California are built under earthquake codes. They have to be able to stand up during a, whatever the number is, 5, 6, 7, whatever. The problem they're going to have is they're probably due for an 8. And it probably will knock anything down in its proximity. That's the problem that they're looking into now coming up. Same thing goes, we know that there's an asteroid coming to Earth sometime in the next few years. It's not going to be a pretty sight where it lands. We've had far more hits on this planet than we originally realized. When we got into space and we could look down and you go, wow, look at this big round ring around this area that you can't see from the ground because it's too big. We've seen a lot of places where there's been hits. And then they go there and they find the center of it and they dig until they find the telltale signs of a asteroid hit. The molten glass, there's certain minerals that would be there from the asteroid. Asteroids seem to have a certain type of mineral content. So we know a lot more now about our planet and solar system and how it was kind of formed. But the bottom line is, everything is planned. The asteroid that's going to hit is not going to hit when the church is here. But it's going to hit somewhere along the line. Apophis. All the seals and trumpets and bowls are still ahead of us. Now, we might see one seal happen, but I think we're going to be in the middle of going up to the clouds. And I don't know if we're going to be able to see this from heaven. I don't know why we couldn't, but I don't know if we will for sure. Don't let it bother you. If you're dealing with issues that are getting you down, find something, find a way to relax from it. If you're in pain and you know that if you do something, my lower back used to bother me, and I had a therapist show me that if I lay on my back and bend my knee up over the top of my other leg and touch the ground with it and stretch, it helped, and it did. So when it starts to bother me, I know to go do that. If there's anything that you know will help you to feel better, make sure you take the time to do that on a regular basis. You've got to be able to have a break from whatever you're doing. If you've got a bunch of kids running around the house, have the grandparents come over for a couple hours and watch them and go do something relaxing. There are ways to deal with pretty much anything. Now, if you're in a situation where you cannot do that, ask God for comfort and just meditate on His Word, and you will mentally be taking a break. The pain may still be there, but the Spirit will help take your mind off of it. It's important that we recharge. You know, the old expression of burning the candle at both ends, you can't do that because eventually the flames meet in the middle. You have to take a break. So whatever's going on in this world, as crazy as it appears, as dangerous as it appears, don't be thinking about it all the time. Find something to relax. Whatever is coming, the really big stuff, we don't have to think about as the church, as good Christians. Now, I used the term good before, and I have a different meaning than apparently some people. So I'll say as true Christians. You don't have to worry. Now, if you're one of these fringes that's believing something slightly off Scripture, you need to center yourself properly. You just can't say the words and be a Christian. You have to believe it inside faith. Without faith, you can't do anything with God. You have to really believe it. You have to believe Jesus died for your sins and that you are forgiven. If you don't believe it, it doesn't do any good. You can say it to your heart's content. I've talked about this before. You may say you did this in Jesus' name, but he's going to say, I never knew you. Get away from me. You need to make sure that you are properly connected. And if you are, you have the fruits of the spirits guaranteed, unless you're non-repentant. And joy and comfort are in there, and you need to have joy and comfort. And if you're not experiencing that, you need to ask God to increase those. Anything you ask from God in his name for his benefit, you will get. Solomon asked for wisdom and he got it. Unfortunately, it didn't come till his later life, a lot of it, or he wouldn't have had so many wives. That's too many people to manage. That's why we're supposed to just keep it simple. If your life is complicated, find a way to make it simple. I have a very easy, simple life now. All I got to do is to walk around or sit and talk to you about Jesus. What easier, better life can I possibly have? Now, some of the background stuff I have to deal with. Where am I staying next? Things like that. I've never had a time where I have to worry about, sleeping in the street or finding some place to sleep. I have my house with me. It's in my gear. I just need to schedule someplace. I've never had a problem. I'm where I'm at right now because I've still got to get my storage unit cleaned up, and I'm doing another film next weekend. And I think that's my last obligation, certainly this year. I might, agree to do something later on. I enjoy doing it. It's just whether or not I'm going to be around to be able to do it. I've been wanting to go out west, and God keeps me here. There's something here that I need to be doing. I can do these videos from anywhere in the world. But he wants me here, so I'm going to be dealing with my son. And I'm trying to get him to come camping with me. I can use his help. He can help me by holding the camera. That might be why my selfie sticks aren't working. He can just hold the camera. So I'm going to work on that. So pray for me in that area. Pray for me that I can continue to be inspired to do these videos. I enjoy doing them. But I'm doing a video every day, so God has to give me a message every day. I'm going to overlap. But most people who watch videos or even sit in church on Sunday are only going to walk away with maybe 10% of the message. Unless you're taking notes, you can, and then you got to go back and go over the notes. Just taking notes and then throwing them into a drawer isn't going to do you any good. God is going to be good to us in these last days as we wait for the rapture. The rapture / war in Israel are the next two events. We don't know the order. It could be one before the other. They could be simultaneous. I don't know. It's the Revelation 12 sign where Satan's coming down for us. And that's why we're raptured. It's all right there. We just don't know when. We know the end of the Bible, and we can backtrack from the end, but we don't know when the end is. We think the fig tree generation defines things. Yeah, that's if we are interpreting it correctly. It seems logical. It's been done before. In other references, the fig tree is Israel. So it seems logical. And whoever sees these signs will see me come back. So which the whole world sees the signs. Anyhow, the rapture can't be far away, but we've been saying that for, at least since the Revelation 12 sign. And there's been people before that have been saying it. People still try to predict. I give them credit for at least thinking through the situation. They just come up with the wrong conclusion, and that's what we've got to be careful with. What else have we gotten wrong or don't fully understand out of what we do know about prophecy? We have to be careful. Prophecy is, you really need to have a prophet to understand prophecy, or God has to explain it at the right time. And when's the right time? Only God knows. So that's why we just got to learn to be patient. Be calm, still, patient. Recharge your batteries. I have to plug my phone in every night to charge the battery. We need to do the same thing. Because we're no good. If my phone goes dead, it's no good to me. If we burn out, we're not good to God or anybody else. Make sure you stay strong and healthy. And if you get yourself too drawn out, you're prone to getting sick as well. So make sure you take the time deliberately, whether it's in the evening, shut down with prayers, or it's on a Sunday where you should be going to church. I go to church when I'm camping, so there's no excuse. All right. I'm hearing squirrels behind me. Okay. This is going to be an interesting month. I'm not predicting anything, but I can guarantee it's going to be an interesting month. Till we meet in the clouds, God bless. There's some evening sun going down clouds. Pretty.